The little line shack sat in a fold of the hills where two creeks met, hidden by cottonwoods so old their roots drank from 3 counties. Jude had found it years ago when he was 16 and running from a foreman who liked to use a quirt on boys with Indian blood. He had kept it stocked ever since: coffee, beans, a little salt pork, blankets, and a bottle of good rye he had never opened. Tonight he was glad for every nail he had ever driven into its walls. He carried Ellie inside just as the first fat drops of a mountain storm began to fall. Thunder rolled down the ridges like artillery. She was shaking again, not from cold but from everything catching up. Jude set her on the single bunk, lit the lantern low, and put a kettle on the sheet iron stove without asking permission. Some things a man just knows. Ellie watched him move around the small room, quiet, deliberate, never wasting motion. He took off his hat and hung it on a peg. Rainwater ran from his black hair down the back of his neck and disappeared under the collar of his faded blue shirt. When he knelt to add kindling to the fire, the light painted the sharp angles of his face in golden shadow. "You hungry?" he asked. She shook her head. Her lip had stopped bleeding but was swollen purple. The bruise on her cheek looked like a storm cloud. Jude poured hot water over coffee grounds, let it steep, then brought her a tin cup. Steam curled between them. "Drink. It'll steady you." She wrapped both hands around it and sipped. The heat hurt her lip but she welcomed the pain. It meant she was still here, still herself. Minutes passed and nothing but the crackle of pine knots and the drumming of rain on the shake roof. Finally she found her voice. "My pa gonna think Travis took me." "Your pa gonna know exactly who took you," Jude said. "By now half the town's talkin' about me knockin' Travis on his backside in front of the church. Word travels faster than wildfire in Willow Creek." She flinched. "They'll say I'm ruined." "Let 'em say." His tone was flat, almost gentle. "Tongues wag whether you're pure as snow or not. Only difference is who you let decide your worth." Ellie looked at him over the rim of the cup. "You talk different when nobody else is listenin'." A faint smile ghosted across his mouth. "Out here the only ears are the coyotes, and they don't gossip." Silence settled again, softer this time. Lightning flashed. For an instant the whole world turned silver. In that heartbeat Ellie saw the worry he was hiding, the tight line between his brows, the way his right hand kept drifting to the butt of his gun as if trouble might walk through the door any second. "Jude," he met her eyes, "you can't fight the whole McAllister outfit. There's 12 of 'em that ride for the brand, and Travis has money to hire 20 more. They'll come for you. Let 'em come." He said it without bravado, like a man stating the direction of the wind. "I won't let you die for me. I ain't plannin' on dyin'." He stood, restless, and went to the window. Rain streaked the glass. "But I won't let you go back to a man who'd raise his hand to a woman, either. Some lines you don't cross and still call yourself a man." Ellie set the cup aside and walked to him. She was close enough to smell coffee and wood smoke and the clean scent of rain on his skin. She laid her palm flat against his back, right between the shoulder blades where the muscles were knotted tight. He went still. "I need to know something," she whispered. "When you said I get to choose who I love, did you mean?" She couldn't finish. Jude turned. The lantern behind him put his face in shadow, but his eyes burned. "I meant every word, Ellie. I ain't gonna crowd you. I know what I am. I know what folks say. But I've loved you since the day you handed me a canteen when I was mendin' fence in a dust storm and never once looked at me like I was less because of my blood. I'll love you till the day I die, whether you ever look at me that way or not." The storm chose that moment to break harder. Wind rattled the shutters. Somewhere a branch cracked like a rifle shot. Ellie reached up and touched the corner of his mouth with trembling fingers. "I already chose," she said. He caught his breath. For a long second neither of them moved. Then he bent his head and kissed her, so careful, barely more than a breath against her bruised lips. When she didn't pull away, he kissed her again, deeper, and the world narrowed to the taste of coffee and the warmth of his hand cradling the back of her neck like she was something holy. They didn't make it to the bunk. They sank to the rug in front of the stove, urgent and gentle all at once, learning each other by firelight and thunder. He stopped every time she winced, whispered apologies against her skin when he touched a bruise. She answered by pulling him closer. Later, wrapped in a blanket with her head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat slow, Ellie felt something inside her chest crack wide open and fill with light. Outside, the rain kept falling, washing the world clean. Dawn came cold and clear. The hills steamed in the early sun. Jude was up before first light, coffee on, rifles cleaned and loaded. Ellie watched him from the bunk, hair tangled, wearing his spare shirt and nothing else. "We can ride to Bozeman," he said without turning. "Catch the stage east. I got enough put by for train tickets to anywhere you want. Denver, maybe, or California. You could start fresh. No one would ever have to know about last night unless you wanted him to. She sat up. And you, I'd see you safe first. Then I'd come back and finish what Travis started. No. She stood, walked to him barefoot across the plank floor, and took the coffee pot out of his hand. We finish it together, or we leave together. Those are the only two choices I'm giving you, Jude Callahan. He looked down at her for a long moment, something fierce and proud flaring in his eyes. Then he smiled, the real one that reached all the way to the corners, the one she had only seen twice before in her life. Together, then, he said. They rode out an hour later on his big line-back dun. Ellie sat behind him, arms tight around his waist, chin on his shoulder. The horse was fresh and eager, the storm had left the air sweet. They followed the creek south until it spilled into the valley, then cut west across open grassland. Jude wanted to reach the Harper Ranch before Travis did. They smelled the smoke long before they saw it. Black columns rose above the cottonwoods that lined the home place. Jude put heels to the dun and they thundered down the slope. Ellie's heart hammered against his back. The barn was fully engulfed. Flames licked the sky. The house was burning slower. Someone had set the porch first, but the logs were green and fought back. In the yard, Ellie's father, Tom Harper, leaned on a crutch, shotgun across his arm, blood running down his temple. Her brother Caleb was dragging buckets from the well, cursing a blue streak. 3 of Travis's men circled them on horseback, laughing, swinging lariats weighted with burning rags. Jude didn't slow. He drew his Colt as they galloped in, fired once into the air. The laughter stopped. Next bullets for flesh, he called. Get off Harper land. One of the cowboys, a thick-necked man named Pike, sneered. You're a little late, Bree.